see over this weekend that there's like so much amazing like LGBTQA plus talent that does an incredible job. And in addition, I
Mm.
just think these safe spaces can be needed because this could be somebody's like first steps into feeling comfortable competing under like their true identity. And eventually that can lead to them competing in an open environment as well.
Speaking of people doing an amazing job, Mugi, you have been in this community as a staff member for a very long time. What does it mean to you to see this tournament take place and have LGBTQ plus representation?
Well, to me personally, it means so much because I grew up in a world where we're seeing LGBTQ plus people um in media and out was like wasn't very prevalent. Like when I growing up, like I always thought that marriage was between a man and a woman. Like I didn't really know that gay marriage was a thing even. Like I didn't really know
Mm.
that was a thing because it was illegal for so long in the United States until I was older, and so it was something I wasn't exposed to. And so having representation and seeing people that are like me, because I am, at least I think I am, Aero and Ace, and I'm also identify as a demigirl. So seeing
Mm.
people that identify the same as me and are similar in many ways, to me it means a lot, especially because I live in a community where there's not a it's a very conservative community, so this stuff isn't like widely talked about.
Yeah. So having an online community where you have several people that are just normal human beings and you see that they are a bi, gay, lesbian as well, is really great.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's loving to
Mhm.
figure out more about who I am as a person. It's allowed me to figure out more of who I am, figure out who I am really. Because
Mm.
before, especially because of the pandemic, like I spent spending a lot of time online, so I couldn't see my friends in person, and like being online, and because I joined Altiora during the pandemic, since I believe that's when it was founded. But correct me if I'm wrong, Fabian, on that.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Okay, I
It
wanted to
was
be
founded
sure.
founded back in 2020.
Yeah, so I joined back then. Um, and so it's been nice to just have, because I've been able to create so many friends, and like they've been able to help me through a lot of tough times. And what's even funner is them reacting to seeing me get older.
That's
It's
because
really
you being
funny.
older scares us all.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, the thing is because I'm 17. I joined and I was 15.
Yeah.
So like seeing them be like, no, you can't be getting older. It's really funny, and it just makes my day so much better. Honestly, just
To us,
being a part of this
more,
community makes me so happy, and just makes my day so much better. Honestly.
more or less like to us, you will always stay child.
You're
Yeah,
not wrong.
no.
Yeah, okay, no, but I'm glad to see you grow and to see wherever life will take you from here on out. And um, next up, the next panel is gonna be a few games. Finally, the first game for this weekend. So let me just quickly explain to you the format we're playing in. We're playing in a double elimination tournament, and the streamed games on day one will be the first game, the upcoming match between The Misery and Tales of the North. And then Cat Drinking Soda versus the winner of Mince Money Crow versus Beep. And that will be it for game day number one in EU. But look out for later on, we will have an A division as well, hosted by the one and only Brixie Cakes at 3 a.m. CEST or 9 p.m. EST. So you don't want to miss that as well. And without further ado, I think it's time. Here's the first match between The Misery and Tales of the North with your casters, Jace and Loki.
I would add.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, every single player in this tournament is LGBT plus in some way, shape, or form. So welcome to all of them. For those of you wanting representation in esports, here you go. We have a wonderful presentation set up for you right now. Can't get away, neither can coffee. And so if Tales of the North can sustain in for more than just a moment, and oh, this EMP catches everyone.
A huge EMP from Pandy was snuck in the invis and managed to pop it right behind them. There was nothing, absolutely. And if they can focus the Pharah, then it will slow the game down a little bit. And that's exactly what Slarch needs to do with that Pharah. Slow the game down, but unfortunately the Misery, they just keep playing at a fantastically high-paced tempo. That's the minefield that comes in. That Reinhardt stuck between a rock and a hard-paced pizza bullet cannot go anywhere. Finally coming up online to try and kick back, but they got to go into an EMP from Pandy.
Yeah, this EMP, we saw the last one. Look for Pandy trying to take this one close before this far really gets way up into this skybox. They're able to get all 6 people. If they wait for too long, and there it is! No patience on this.
The only thing I think that Tales of the North can really do here is find a big barrage. That's no Sombra going in, so a lot of utility missing. The Misery just go first and they go better. This is going to be a 100-0 by the looks of it. They basically 6-0 sweep that team fight and they take map 1. Absolutely. For the side of Tales of the North, there is things that they can do to adapt and change up. I'm not a big fan of the Reinhardt and the Pharmacy in combo. They just fundamentally, I think, want to do different things. There is always something to be said about comfort picks. I think particularly when we looked at the preview for this match, the SR difference between both of these teams is, I believe, actually over 500, maybe even over 700 as well. So if the sheets are correct, of course. Obviously one of them has put themselves down as 5 KSR, so it's not going to be totally accurate. But in terms of overall, comfort picks definitely still valuable in a tournament like this, because you need to be able to dedicate as much brain power as you can to coordinating with the rest of your team. I think that's so important, but unfortunately those comfort picks were being punished by the Misery, who were playing a flat composition of 6 synergistic heroes, and particularly when they're playing them at such a high level, it's nearby impossible to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I say at the end of the day, what matters most is you enjoy what you're playing on and you feel good about it. But if it's just not working, you know, really need to see swaps. And that's what we look to the DPS players a lot of the time for, is for them to bring that flexibility to those comps, to rotate around the pace, to change the way that we want to see it. And there, you know, it just wasn't the flexibility that we want to see, you know, based around the tanks, able to get that pacing a little bit faster, maybe a little bit more, you know, CC to get off the ball perhaps. That time we just weren't really seeing it up in the north.
AFK, can they find him? The Mayfreeze is going to be coming up. It looks like they do. They drop off the high ground as Mini manages to clean up Pizza Bullet as well. They got the initial rotation, Loki, but I think the Misery just played that second stretch too good. The minefield already online for CJ, and that is the nail in the coffin for this fight. With the respawns coming in, so Tales of the North have got the opportunity to take their own 65 any second now. And if the Misery, they want to stay in this fight, they're going to have to commit resources, and it looks like they do. They go in with the minefield, they go in with the pulse bomb, and that's going to be all she wrote for this fight. So it costs them a lot of ultimates and a lot of time off the clock, but the Misery still get the hold. Well, keeps them nice and healthy, because they were expecting the beat to come down and they were expecting a fight to ensue, and they just didn't. A little bit of hesitation, unfortunately, from Mando really cost them hits. 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. CJ just going to mine the payload to make it oh so difficult for anyone to walk in. Slee has a Graviton Surge. Will they decide to use it? Going to be holding onto it now. Still 70 energy. Finally ripped. It doesn't manage to find anyone as everyone falls down around the Zarya. They were the last to die alongside Slob there on the Tracer, and finds some excellent cooldown rotations. And on individual is Tales of the North comp a lot of heroes that fundamentally exist and thrive on their own, but they're going to be walking right into a tight room against the Mei. Can Mini get the wall to punish him? That's going to be a pin straight onto Pizza Bullet. They did not check. CJ just presses shift and finds a team fight. That's such a quick ace. That's a 6.
CJ, early shatter as well. Gonna pick up 1. They don't even want them to touch the card. They want to take the fight here.
Yeah, they're just gonna go all the way through, not even allow them the chance to walk in. It's a tighter choke point. I don't mind it. Mini's wall coming in. You can't really contest it for Tales of the North because you don't have a Mei in yourself. They're just gonna park 2 on the payload. One of them can just fly to the fight in half a second anyway. I think one more person comes in. They might not even need it, as they're holding off everyone from spawn. And the Misery find themselves on match point after a very quick 2 maps in play.